wrong with the cancer, Barbie for kids with cancer. No, I'm saying, let's find out why they're all getting cancer. Oh, I happen to know the people running things are murdering our children. And people are like, well, that's just too extreme. Yeah, I know. Reality is extreme.
Yes, and they've built these massive new hospitals in the States and in Canada. They're literally big factory blocks, huge things, and to treat cancers and the dying. And of course, you're offered euthanasia.
Well, that's all. We've got our new economy now. Prisons, cancer wards, brain damage, diabetes, the fruits of New World Order. NAFTA, GATT, no jobs, giant crime waves, huge prisons, trudgeons, tasers, taser bracelets, children wearing tasers in school, death, murder, stinking war, millions of dead Iraqis, trendy. It's wonderful, Alan.
Yeah, that's what they've done, and then again, they turned so much off what was government's job, one time, over to private sectors, including in the health industries in Britain and elsewhere, and now for profit, of course. And so then the next debate comes in. It's costing too much to treat these people.
Alan, stay there. We've got to keep you even longer now. I promise. I'll get to Christopher, who's been holding for quite a spell. Skywalker, Judy, Jessica, who's been holding the longest? Christopher, Skywalker, then Jessica, Richard, Judy. We're going to get to all of you. Alan Watt on with us now. And it sounds really horrible, but aren't you glad you know now? Aren't you glad? And then later I've got a special question for Alan Watt. I'd seen the longevity products work for many others. All right, this segment, a little bit of the next, I'll jam in 5 of your calls or so for Alan Watt. Then I want to get into Ted Nugent and this video that the establishment globalists are freaking out about, where he talks about Obama being a criminal, which he is a criminal. But Mitt Romney's going to save us. And this is part of the mind game people play. So I'm going to talk about that coming up. Christopher in Missouri, you're on the air with Alan Watt. Go ahead. Go. Christopher, going once, going twice, gone. Okay, Christopher. Let's go ahead and go to Skywalker in California. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi. I'm just talk about the situation that happened on Thursday. I live in Modesto, California. I live like 5 blocks away from where the sheriff deputy got killed on the eviction notice. I heard rumors that day when it was happening on Facebook feed that it was an Army vet that actually did it, and they couldn't find the... He barricaded himself in the building, and when they burnt it up, they found a body that was just bones. I don't know if it's a girl or female. So I'm thinking it was...
Yeah, I saw that report. And as they go to take farms, ranches, and the cops reportedly just burned it down. The new thing is they're going to burn you out. But people aren't going to just be waiting to be burned out in the future. There's a lot of evidence they murdered this guy up in Georgia, burned his house down with him in it. And we got there and the police said, you're not allowed to film the city hall. You're not allowed to enter. This is not America, is basically what they told us. I played that yesterday. Alan Watt, we're going to see more and more of this, aren't we?
Definitely, again, go back to the old videos. There's plenty up there on the nets to do with the Soviet system in the Ukraine and in Russia, where they sent the armies after farmers, and not all of them caved in. Lots of them went down with their houses, and you see them firing back at the troops and so on, as they tried to take off the only little bit of property they had and their livelihood away from them. This is obviously, again, it's a global agenda. It's not happening just in one country. Whatever happens in America is happening across the world at the same time, because they're standardizing the culture of the world and the system of the world for global government, you see.
Well said. Anything else, Skywalker?
One more thing. It's surprising just to see it in my neighborhood happening in front of my eyes. But yesterday, the 2 neighboring towns, 2 people were killed by 2 different officers on 2 different incidents. One was just a pulled over... one was a report for a family dispute, but it turned into the officer had to shoot him, and they ended up dying. And the other
what's going to happen is the public's degenerating, the police are degenerating and stressed out, and there's 5 million guns or more being sold a month, and the police are going to start getting scared, and they're going to start killing people, and so the public's going to start just shooting when they see police, which is a bad idea. And that's what they want. The globalists want a civil war. Thank you, Skywalker. Do you agree with my statement on that? That the globalists don't care if the military and police get chewed up. They want to have a civil war in North America.
I'd say so. In order to justify with overwhelming force in a pre-planned agenda of how they tackle it all, to buckle what's left really down into abeyance. That's
and SPP says that, as you know. The North American Union documents we got, they admit that.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, the police are not the same police. They've been trained to be paranoid of the public for years now, but they've also been given permission. It's a tacit admission and permission to simply taser the people to death or shoot them, kill them. The inquiries go nowhere. The inquiry is eventually they'll just do away with inquiries altogether. That's where it's going.
Well said, Alan. Let's now go to Jessica in Texas. Jessica, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hi, Alex. I'm wondering what you think is the realistic level of complicity by the media, politicians, and Hollywood in bringing in the New World Order. Do you think that they're aware of what they're helping to create, or are they just...
I just talked to a national media figure today who was actually brought into the meeting and given the speech I was giving years ago that sell out, you'll get all this power. And, of course, he's all freaked out about it. But the point is that low-level media just regurgitates the national media. At a local TV station, you get national packages and then just read your voice so it looks like it's local, or you stand there and read it. So it's talking points. Most people are just thinking about how they want to go home and get drunk, or go home and see their girlfriend, or go to the park and, you know, play Frisbee golf. So it's a selfishness. I'd say, what, 95% of people that work for the system don't know it, Alan?
A lot of them, well, actually, a lot of them do know it as well. She made a good point about Hollywood. Hollywood is an essential arm. It's the essential arm for the culture industry.
Tell you what, stay there, and I want her to stay there too. Jessica, we're going to come back and have a follow-up and let Alan comment on that. Riveting information. I'm talking about locals, 95%. Oh, yeah. If you get into manager levels of Hollywood, national TV and stuff, these people are smart enough to know what's going on and to follow orders, and they get off on it. So yeah, I agree with that statement. So just enjoy then. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We're on the march.
Just looking at Infowars.com, and one of the top stories there in the tiles, Jon Stewart exposes the fraud of the Federal Reserve. Jon Stewart's brother is the head of the New York Stock Exchange. Jon Stewart's a fake stage name. And you talk about victory. The fact that 15 years ago, I would have national media call me and say, you are insane, the Federal Reserve is not private, and it's racist to say it is. And I'm racist. You know, they would inject that. Don't like government health care? You're racist. They just throw that in there. Doesn't make any sense. It's a non sequitur. They do it. And now, all these years later, over 90% in major polls know the Federal Reserve is private. So now Jon Stewart can expose it to his idiot viewers. Of course, they'll just change the name. I predict when the charter comes up next year, in 2013, that they're going to change the name of it. They're going to reincorporate, same owners, new name. At least they're going to try it. Now, going back to Alan Watt and Jessica in Texas, Alan, you were cut off by the break getting into Hollywood. And how many people in the media system know what they're doing? Go ahead.
Well, I put a list up of the CFR members from their own website in the U.S., and anybody who's any kind of reporter at all across the whole country and the world is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. You can't join it. You have to be asked to join after you've been vetted for your opinions on things. Will you go along with this agenda? Yep, that's it. And getting back to Hollywood, though, Hollywood was almost like an invasion into the U.S. People don't even know how it started from the European guilds that came over. Especially when Hitler was coming in, and they started pushing their communist ideals through movies right away. Again, destruction of the family unit, affairs. Everybody had affairs in the movies. Made it exciting, and the same techniques were used until, of course, they had the anti-American hearings, of course, and even the top owners of some of these big television companies, big movie companies, had to admit they had employed lots of writers, and that they blamed the writers for bringing all this communistic stuff in, all the agendas. And then they cooled it down for years and gave you nothing but westerns after that. You remember that? Lots and lots and lots of westerns with not too much political mention at all in the dialogue. But then they went back again.
Yeah, just pro-war, so they shifted.
Yep.
And again, folks in Hollywood have admitted that they saw it as revolutionaries to destroy Christianity and destroy the family ethic to render us down to be weak, servile minions.
That's right. And also Sarah Sarandon came on television at one of the big meetings, big award things for actors and producers. She was on live television along with Michael Moore, of course. And she said, "We are the culture creators." So, see, that's how they refer to themselves in the industry. They don't follow culture. They create the next part of culture. They update you see. And that's well known amongst all the Hollywood peoples, what they're actually doing. They are the prime people to give us our thoughts, our emotions about things. Most folk think emotionally. They don't think through logic. And you remember the scenes, etc., with emotion attached to it. And, of course, they don't understand that this is all to affect you.
And by the way, I have, at the highest levels, take Jesse Ventura's TV show, when we actually got shows on about FEMA camps and the takeover plans, Homeland Security threatened people. Once you're part of something, and as a journalist, you promise not to reveal things. I can't go into all of it. But it was stuff being broken into, threats, not just congressmen calling. And they took that show off the air. And then now, basically, I'm not even going to get into it. People are like, where's the third season? Well, the point is that it's real. And I just talked to another national media figure earlier who said, oh, my God, it's all real. And I know all the behind-the-scenes stuff. And, of course, he's like, in confidence, I'm going to tell you this now because this was in confidence. And it's so real. It's so real. It's so real. People say, well, if you were in media meetings over the years, and people offered you jobs and admitted the New World Order was real, why don't you expose them? Because they say, as a journalist or in business, we're going to offer you this, but this is off record. If I ever break an oath, then there's no point in people ever giving me information. Now, if it was of a criminal act, like hurting children or something, I would break it, or a bank robbery. But and it's also the way they do it. I'm just telling them that when I'm talking to fade the caller down because there's a buzz on the line. The point is that when you're sitting there talking to people and, it's like, well, yeah, there's got to be a global government to help people. And we've got to, get rid of this system to bring it in. And we're going to help others. And it needs to be managed. And, yeah, it's real, but the public doesn't want freedom. The fact that you're to the point you've gotten means you're one of us. You're successful. Join the team. It's almost like they live when they get into the underground complex and they see the guy they thought was just a bum but was really a spy working with the off-worlders. And he's like, hey, guys, good to know you made it. Got to get yourself some fancier duds. Now that you've joined the team, let's go on in. And he's like, incredible technology, isn't it, boys? It's good to be on the winning team, isn't it? You know you want it. You know you wanted to join the team, boy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alan.
Well, that's exactly how it is. And so self-interest and ego is pampered too. And most people take the baits and go with it. Think, okay, I don't belong to the masses anymore. I belong to a better group, and that's how they literally see it and talk about it amongst themselves. So, but Hollywood itself is the culture in this industry, which gives you the updates on the culture, and the people follow it because monkey see, monkey do. That's what they said, 60 years ago in Hollywood.
Have you had them come to you and say, Alan, you're really smart. You really know what's going on. Join us, because that's the speech everybody gets.
I've been approached by the top ones who've asked me to come to the roundtable societies for global citizenship committees.
I have too. I've been invited to the UN, everything, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I won't take the bait because, and I know too, if I did, I'd be sitting on easy street.
No, you get there and there's like a gorgeous woman who's going to be with you for the weekend and all these business opportunities. It'd be like, people are like, oh, that sounds great, sell out, sell out. Yes, no, it is a heartless, soulless system. I will not.
Yeah, and then they even offer to you, they'll do all you don't have to write your own books. They'll ghostwriters will just churn out books for you, one after another,